The quality of your observations, the detail of your observations will be important in getting a good grade on this assignment. So we want to set the observations up well. We want to talk about some ways we're going to do that today. And that's the main thing we want to get done. I'm going to slightly alter the work we were going to do in chapter 1. We are going to have a brief discussion, but I'm not going to have you turn in anything with us. But I'll talk more about that later in the period. Hopefully you've answered the chapter 1 questions. If you have not, you're in luck. I'm not going to collect those today, but I will collect those next week, and I'll talk more about why that is and some information on that. So we're just going to hold off on that. If you've got that done, good job. If not, take advantage of a little bit more time on that. We'll revisit that later in the period. Okay, so let's talk about what you guys need to do to take care of your flatworms over the next couple weeks. Let's do this. Go ahead and get out. We're not going to get the flatworms out yet because I want to go through some stuff first. But go ahead and get out your notebook. We'll talk about some things that we can do to make really good observations with that. So go ahead and get those out right now. Okay, so with observations, every time we do this, you always want to include the date. Okay, so include the date, and that's how you should start. So for today, you would create an entry and you would just put the date in. So you put Friday, 9/24. 21. Okay, so you put that, and then you want to come up with some title for what you're doing on this day. So Friday, September 24th, 2021, and then you would put some type of title. So you could put first observation after cutting. So you got your cutting in last class, that was on Wednesday. This is the first observation you're going to do. Besides observing the day, you also want to maintain them with proper water amount, and we'll talk about how to do that. Here's some things you want to include in your reports, and this will be for today, next Tuesday, next Thursday, the following Monday, the first week of October, the following Wednesday, and then we'll wrap it up after that Wednesday. And then that Friday, right before fall break, you'll submit your report with the pre-lab vocab. You'll complete some analysis, and we'll also have a coloring that you'll do in the meantime. Some things you want to look for. I'm just taking this from the packet, but I'm just going to break it down to the main parts. So, okay, some things you want to look for. You want to observe the cut edge. See if I can get my spelling right. Cut edge. So if you had a planarian and let's say you cut it like this. Let's say your cut was straight down the middle. Then you would want to specifically make sure you observe that section. You would want to zoom in with your microscope on that part specifically, okay? You would want to look for blastema, which is a fancy word for new cells. Okay, so look at what the cells will look like in this area specifically. That's really important. You would also want to look for the eye spot, especially if you cut through the eye spots. The eye spots are these. And so if you were to cut the head off, for example, and then this part was regrowing, you want to observe to see if any of those are coming out. Now, I will tell you guys, on some of these, it's going to take a little while for these worms to recover. You know, it may be a few days, it may be a week before you actually see any growth. So give them some time before you decide that nothing's happening or something is happening. They may just kind of float around in the water for a week, and then maybe late next week you actually see something happening with them. Okay, we're also going to observe for auricles. Auricles are these little things here. They are sensitive to chemicals, and they look like little ears, sort of. So this is an auricle, and that is. So observe for eye spots, observe for auricles. Include that in your lab report. Another thing you want to do besides making sure you have a date, you want to observe for each Petri dish. So you should have an entry for each Petri dish that you have. Some of you are going to get off easy. Some of you got more work to do. That's just how it turned out. So like if you have cut number 5, you've got to only observe one worm. But if you have cut number 1, you have 3 different Petri dishes that you need to complete observations for. If you have cut number 8, you've got 6 different Petri dishes. It's going to take you more time. That doesn't mean that group 3 can just goof off and not do anything. I expect you to have even better observations for your 1 because you've only got 1 to do. But like groups 7 and 8 and 9 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 to a little bit, 6, you've got 2 to 3 to 6 up to 6 different entries you need to have. So what you would do, let's say your group number 8, you would need to have an observation for 8A. You'd need to have an entry for 8B, 8C, 8D, and 8E. So have a set in F. There's an F as well. Jeez. It's a lot. Number 8. And so for each of these, you would want to observe the cut edge with your microscope, look for new cells growing, see how the eye spots are going, see how the auricles are going. What else do you guys want to observe and look for and document? Document just means you're writing down what you observe. You also want to look for behavior. So look for general behavior. What's the planarian doing? Is it moving? Is it not moving? Does it look dead? Is it moving toward the light? Is it moving away from the light? Okay, so general behavior, include that. So you're going to use the microscope to observe for these things. This is just kind of a general overview of some things you should look for. And also make sure you break it down by each Petri dish. So each Petri dish needs its own entry. Okay? It looks like you guys are understanding what I'm trying to tell you. Does this all kind of make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to give you plenty of time to do this. This is a really fun lab. I'll give you plenty of time to make your observations. Just make sure you're getting through these. And this will be what we'll work on basically until the end of the 9 weeks. We'll be doing some other stuff in between because this is only going to take us about 20 to 30 minutes. A little bit more time today since it's our first time. Okay, thank you for tuning in on a Friday afternoon. So what else? We talked about that. Oh, groups. The groups that split the head and cut the tail. If you're group 5 or 10, 5 and 10 might need to do a recut. 5 and 10, recut. Sorry, I can't spell. Question mark. Okay? The reason you will want to cut it again, and I'll get the ice out for you, is if the tail went back together or the head went back together. We want to keep cutting it for at least the next week, if we need to try to get them to separate so we get a double head or a double tail, which is what we're going for. Okay, we're kind of being mad scientists with those in particular. Okay, so that's the observation piece. So this is all part of what we're going to be observing. Maintenance part. Here's what you need to do for maintenance. Add water. And don't just add tap water, add the spring water in the gallon jugs over there. Okay, you can get a glass container filled up, add it. Make sure at least the bottom half. So if your container goes up this high, make sure it's filled up to at least there. You don't want it up to the edge because it'll slosh out and your planarian might crawl out. You don't want that. You want it, about like maybe a half to 3/4 full of water so they don't dry up. A trick though you may want to do during the observation phase is you may want to remove water so it's just down to like a little spot that will self-contain the planarian. So if you have like water, like a little water bubble, and your planarian's like right here. Okay, I know planarians don't really look like that. So if he's right there, that way he can't get in this space. You've just taken that water out. He's contained. I say he, they're both genders. The planarian's in the middle, and so then you can observe it without having the planarian go to the corners because they want to get away from the light and they want to hide over on the side. That's just an instinct that they naturally do. That's what their light spots do. They want to get away from the light because it's safer over here in the corners. Okay? All right. You guys have any questions? No? Good? Okay. All right, so I'm going to open this up so you can get this. And then, where did I put you guys' planarians? You guys remember which cabinet it was? Back here. Man, you guys have good memories. Thank you for your help. I'll pull those out. Water's here. And you guys ready to go? Let's plan to work on this till around 2:35 to 2:40ish. Oh, not in here. It must be to the right. This one? The other side? Right here? Yes. This one. Okay. Is this right? Is this your guys?
Oh, sorry. You just want to work on it fast since my partner's not here?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, if your partner's not here, just go ahead and get it done. Yep, I'll get your attendance changed here in a minute. Good week.
Pretty stressful. I had a lot of editing stuff.
Yeah, you were out to make all that up.
Yeah, we had that 2 weeks of work.
Yeah, that's tough. Well, hope that went well for you this week. I know that was a lot.
Yeah. Okay. Just now I have to test. I think I've had at least 1 or 2 tests every class.
Okay, don't bang your knee. Is there any other cabinets I put your guys in, or is that all of them?
That one. That big one.
In here? Okay. Are these yours down here? You guys?
I have to get a new planarian because they didn't want to cooperate with me.
Yep, that's fine. Yep, and if you guys still need to do your cuts, we got plenty.
Where do we find a scalpel?
I love your keychains. You have so many of them.
Oh, thank you.
You guys need a new
Yeah,
planarian,
it's a
I've got
small
some right
collection.
here. Get a big one.
Yeah, last time
And when you need ice, let me
Still
know
anyway.
as well, or if you need ice.
I did it.
That's a cool shirt.
I don't middle very well.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you can redo it. I'll go get ice.
Sure, I really like
Oh yeah,
them.
he's dead. No?
So we cut ox.
No, I think he's dead.
Oh, I see it.
He's alive.
We need a
Yeah.
microscope to see it. Yeah. I'm trying to move all this stuff so we're not like standing here. Oh, we need some more water. Just put a little bit in. It's pretty full. I mean,
What?
I don't know if it's supposed to be fresh or. I'm sure it'll be fine. Yeah, because there's a lot in here. I'm gonna spill it. How's it? Quite a bit. We need a lot in there. Yeah, we're good in all the water.
Come on, Chip.
Are you a liar? Alright, he's really. Okay, good.
As long as he's also moving. He might, Ox might be dead, but
I mean, he's gonna take a while to bounce back.
that's
So I need to move all these because these are like all ones that don't work. Yeah, the ones that work are in the cabinets. I'm just trying to get all these out of
Do
the
you know
way.
if these are clean beakers?
I do not know. I assume maybe.
You guys are using the ice, let it melt for maybe about 4 minutes or so before you put them on there. Let me know if you need help with that. Yeah. Sorry.
Jeff, let's go back to the.
You cut it? It's a little short amount of time. They do like water, they can dry out.
Yeah, ice table.
So there's no more microscope.
Get that.
Well, there's not any more.
Could be
Yeah, so maybe we'll
You didn't get that from over there.
Well, he's completely regenerated himself. So now I have to chop him in half again.
This light's not working here. Pipettes. I think there's maybe some.
Okay.
I'll get this one works from the top though.
He's not. He's not
We
getting
said
it.
these over here.
New ones. What do you want to do with?
Throw them away or?
Hold on, let me take care of a couple
Sorry.
things first. Somebody moved out my microscope. Can you see that? Hold on. Okay. All right.
Yeah, I'm gonna get some out. Looks like my microscope all blowing out like this week.